This is Rusty Pilot 88, and these videos will show my journey back into aviation after 10 years. Aviation is a passion, and I love sharing it with people, and it's my hope that these videos will help inspire some to start their journey into aviation. What's going on, everybody? Rusty Pilot 88 here, just doing a little bit of work on my new flight simulator. Basically what I've been doing is putting together all the gauges that you see here, here, and up there, the suction gauge. I modeled this after a Piper Archer or Piper Warrior cockpit mold. So behind here in my instrument holes I will have a computer monitor that I'll have the gauges, and then let's see if I can hold it there. That is going to be how I adjust the gauges from Air Manager. Just a simple rotary encoder. This is my backing plate. There will be a face plate. This one's garbage as a template, but so this is a backing plate for an audio panel that I'm going to be making. It's going to have the audio volume knob, the OMI light indicators, and then all my buttons for COM 1, COM 2, NAV 1, NAV 2 monitoring. So basically this is just a backing plate where all the wiring is going to be held on and everything's attached to, and then there'll be a faceplate, a clean faceplate with the labels. I'm also most likely going to install LEDs here as well to indicate what is on and off. I also will be putting LEDs along this side to get my annunciator panel with a micro switch to test the annunciator panel there. But basically this is the top panel up here. These would be my mid panel, which is split right here, and that would be obviously flipped around, but this is where my yoke will come in through the gap in those two. And then this is the under panel. I'm going to install an ignition switch here, and then my headphone jacks will be over here, just like the real aircraft. Have a primer switch that I'm going to hook up. This would be for carb heat. I have my full switch panel up here. I couldn't find switches that would work for me with the red and the white like most Pipers do have, but these will have to do. I'm going to be using a combination of an Arduino Mega, Arduino Mini, and a couple of USB joystick controllers for all the switches and gauges. These gauges behind here are operated by 9G little servos. I'll zoom in a little bit here and try not to make it too shaky, but they won't focus. But they're 9G little servos that'll run to my Arduino. That is going to be, the programming is done on from a website called SimVim. That's SIMVIM. Great product. Literally all you do is go in there and you select what you have, what you want to control, and what pin on the Arduino you want to control it with, and then you upload it. You then have a SimVim add-on in X-Plane, and then it just works. So I've tested all the gauges before installing them on the panel. They all work. So yeah, I'll check back in with you when I have another update. Alright guys, so we're on the back of the panel here. These are the 3 LEDs for the annunciator panel. So what I have to do is I'm going to put a 220 resistor on each one of these, and then solder that on, solder the positive leads on, and then it'll be run to my Arduino. The Arduinos are all going to be mounted over here. This is going to, obviously my daughter drew a little in the back of this, but there will be my radio stack round about right here. These are the back of the switches, some of my other gauges as well. I'm missing a 9G servo here, and I'm waiting for it to come in and then continue hooking those up. But yeah, we're starting on the wiring. I'm gonna cut in new instrument holes. As you can see, I cut out the old ones and glued this in place, just a place board for it. I wanted to make the instruments, I wanted to recenter them a little bit. And then there will be a 15-inch monitor that's going to run around here, which will be the display for the instruments and for Air Manager. So let me get to it and I'll show you when I'm all done. As you can see, it becomes quite a mess. But basically what I'm going to do is, after everything's wired and I verify everything's in good working order again, because I did test all the components, they all work, so now it's just a matter of making sure everything gets hooked up properly. So once everything is confirmed that it's working good, I'm going to take vinyl wrap, which is a heat shrink vinyl wrap. I'm just going to place it down over the wires on the back and use my heat gun to kind of seal this seal this all off and prevent the wires from moving. It'll also clean up the back of the sim, so that'll be nice and clean. But as you can see, you got a lot of wires, a lot of wiring to do to my wonderful Arduino Mega and my Arduino Nano as well. So I will check back up with you when the next part is done. Alright, for the next update, so I have the lower wiring harness, which controls all the engine instruments. This is the fuel cluster with left tank, right tank, center, and then also over here we have, here, maybe it's easier if I just lift it up, show you the other side. So over there we have our oil pressure and oil temp and the amps, which are, like I said, I'm still waiting for the servo for the amps there on the left hand side, and the switch panel. This will be the annunciator panel with the test switch. I drilled it out, I have to touch up the paint around it. This is just first coat of paint on this right now, so there'll be probably another 1 or 2 coats on it. But now I'll go to the back and show you guys the wiring here. So all of my gauges here, like I said, are controlled by 9G servos. So each 9G servo has a, if it'll focus, not really focusing, but each one has a signal, a power, and a ground. The signal is the yellow, the power is the red, and the ground is the brown. So I have those all wired up. I extended the wires. They now all come out to here, which is where my Arduino will be mounted in this section here. So I have to pin those all out on the Arduino. Here's my vacuum gauge as well. As you can see, I tried to stay as color coordinated as possible. So yellow signal, red is power, and the black is the ground. Again, up here I have the backlights, the LEDs for the annunciator panel, and then the test button as well. Again, yellow being signal and black being ground. Red are the powers. I have 220 ohm resistors on the backs of these LEDs. And then this would be that wiring harness here. So those will all get pinned out as well. For the switch panel, I'm actually running it to a USB joystick controller. So it's got 12 active pinouts here. I didn't like that. I got single switches that were actually dual pin here. So as you can see on these are 3-pin and they're on switches. When I ran the dual pin switches, they were kind of small. I didn't like the way they felt, and I had problems where I had to toggle back and forth. So I'd have to go flip them up to turn them on, and then they'd flip them down, they'd do nothing, and then flip them back up to turn them off. So with these, I'm going to have one pin over here is signaling that, let's say, the battery's on, and the next pin is signaling that the battery is off. But those are wired to a single switch with a common ground to the center post here on the switches. Alright, so I'll continue on here and I'll check back in with you in a few minutes. A little pro tip here. When creating these wiring bundles here, where you got multiple leads heading to the same location where they need to be pinned out, probably one of the better things to do is to take a white piece of tape and mark on it what the 3 leads are for. So this is for my EGT gauge. So I just wrote EGT on there. So when I start to wire everything together, just read the labels, trim the wires to the appropriate lengths, and pin them out to the appropriate pins on the Arduino. So here it is, my Arduino setup. I'm using this as a main power bus for all my switches, gauges, everything. So like I said, I have an Arduino Mega and then an Arduino Uno. The Uno works as the brain behind the servos. So all the servos get pinned out to a location on the Uno. And then this 2 green and blue wires right here are the communication cables between the Mega and the Uno. So I'm going to start pinning these out. I'll follow along, and then afterwards I'll put up a schematic of how everything's hooked up and how I have everything configured through SimVim. Alright, sounds good. Okay, so we're all wired up for the main board here. I'm going to quickly run over. I got a little screw just holding it in there for now temporarily. Holding the Arduino board to the main part of the cockpit. Here's the front side. So I'm going to head over to the computer, hook everything up, and we'll check it out. So I figured out what went wrong. So when you have a setup with the G9 servos, so the Arduino Uno is your main servo board. So basically, when you have the Arduino Uno, you need to upload the programming to the Arduino and have it stored on there. However, if you do not disconnect the communication wires between the Uno and the Mega, what happens is the program gets overwritten. So when I uploaded my new programming to the Mega, I had the Uno connected, so all my servo setups got erased. So I have to reset up all my servos and reload that program onto the Uno with it disconnected from the Mega. Then re-upload my programming to the Mega, connect them both, and then I should be good to go. But as far as the main wiring for tonight, it works great. Like I said, I have my annunciator panel working, my switches are working, gauges are not working because of the problem I just stated. But as you can see, when I flip the alternator switch off, my alt light comes on just like in the simulator. In the software. Flip it back on, the alt light off. When I start to reduce the mixture, let's see if I can get it, there we go. As it starts to run low on the mixture, my lights come on and they reflect exactly as they do in the simulator. So that's that. I'll update you guys as I continue to go here. Alright, next up we're going to be doing the resistors on the LEDs on the audio panel here. The actual physical buttons for the audio panel will be connected to this USB joystick little circuit board here. They'll run all through here and they'll go connect to the positive and negative of each. So I'll check back in with you when I'm done soldering all these resistors on.
Hey guys, Rusty Pilot 88 here. As you can see, I got the resistors on and the audio panel's working great. I did test the OMI sensors for instrument approaches, which is the OMI indication on the audio panel. Those lights worked great too. I tried to keep this video as brief and just the highlights as much as possible. If you're looking for more details on this sim build, I will definitely provide that. Just leave a comment down below and I'll try to share as much information as I can. Also, I'll keep updating you guys on the build. Don't forget to like and just subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Really helps, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I love hearing from you guys. I love the support. I'm going to keep trying to put videos out there. You can go back and check some of my older content. I have videos up there from doing the Cat 1 rating on Pilot Edge and X-Plane. I flew to Oshkosh Sim Venture 2020 as well. That video is up. Also, my first flight back in an actual airplane in over 10 years. I flew a Cirrus SR-20. And then also my flight training since then. I've taken a couple of flights. I haven't really flown much recently due to COVID-19. And some personal stuff going on, so I've been grounded for a little while, but I'm looking to get back in the air very shortly, get through this biannual flight review, and move on to my instrument training. Part of the reason why I'm building this at Home Flight Simulator Cockpit is because I want to use it as a tool to supplement my actual flight training and have something at home that when the kid's asleep and the day's over, I can come down here and I can work on ILS approaches and some IFR flights. So once again, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Stay safe, stay current, stay awesome. Catch you next time.